if you think about the various points, all of them were actually good because you don't really... There's a certain arrogance you find in places that are very large, and a certain soullessness. There's not really a lot of connection, whereas in a smaller place there is a lot more connection. They're much more human-sized, and that's why I like smaller cities, because people relate to each other. You know, you'll even smile at a stranger, people you don't know, because you feel relaxed. I mean, the pace in a big city, just smile at somebody, you think, oh no, they might be someone who's going to murder me because I smiled at them, or they might be mentally ill and kill me because I smiled at them, and you don't do it. So there is a difference, it seems to me, in a country where, you know, the cities are not that big. I mean, and this is something I've only just learned when I read some things about Romania. They're all little cities. There's no... Even Bucharest is only 1 million people, I think.
2 million.
2 million.
2 million now.
2 million.
More than.
But dropping, isn't it?
No.
Getting smaller. No?
No.
Okay. But it's not a huge city in comparison to, you know, lots of other
India,
places.
China.
Yeah.
May I tell a few things about my impression? I think this is the 6th time I'm in Romania, and this is 3rd time in Iași. And the other 3 times, the first time I was in Iași, it was like 12 years ago. And probably I didn't make my homework, and at the time that when I arrived into Bucharest, the meeting was supposed to be next day, and so I went to the train station first from the airport. The first thing, because of probably my experience in the United States and things like that, the taxi driver always deceptive. So I instead, I did some check on the bus from the airport to the central city, and I didn't trust to give my luggages to the emanet. So I noticed that's a Turkish term too, in the Gara de Nord in Bucharest. And instead there were a few Turkish stores, and bakery, a restaurant right next to it. I want to tell them that can I leave this until the evening? I had a night train coming to Iași, and they refused. And then what I did instead, one chap was following me, and he said, "Where are you from?" This and that. He said, "Oh, I am originally a Turk," as if he's saying in bad English, and from Timișoara. So that was Timașeva in Ottoman. Yeah. And so he said he can help me because it was heavy luggage. And he took me to a hotel, and so I just rent a room to keep my luggage, and he insisted to carry it to my room. And at the moment I had a camera, and so he was holding the camera when I was opening the door, and he asked me 100 lei at the time. It was not the same money today, you know,
More.
2 more zeros, and to give my, so I had to give half of it, made a bargain, 50 lei. And it was an experience. So I bought a map, and I saw a Cimetière Musulman, and I took a bus there. I went there, and I recognized that the one part is a Turkish martyrs land where we fought in the First World War in Dacia, and the next was regular Muslims, you know, buried there. Their alphabet has changed when the Turkish alphabet has changed. And all the writings has changed, and finally the Muslim cemetery, it says, İhni, İci, somebody is buried here. Just one thing has not changed. In our graveyards, in the stone, headstone, it says, you know, Fatiha, just pray for him, the beginning of the Quran, that only remained in Turkish. Rest has changed according to the Muslims also put the picture of the dead one on the just like the other Romanians. So it's a kind of, you might say, either assimilation or integration. Even I asked the graveyard keeper, is there any mosque? So it's my usual personal, you know, the habit. If I go to a city, even if it is a Muslim town, I try to go to the central mosque, even if it is more than one, just to pray for the presence of there. And he told me that I can take this bus and, you know, goes to that neighborhood. I went there and I find out that it's made in the communist area just for propagation. It wasn't an old mosque or something, just a cement building, and it was covered with the, you know, the wooden boards, not to be seen from outside. And the lights were on, and I was wondering whether if I can get into it. And when I went to the, you know, the old ladies and just living next, you know, in the apartments, and I asked them whether the imam is there, you know, the calling azan, giving all the sign, no, all Romanian speaking, I don't know any word. And I couldn't get an answer, but only some of the old, very old ones demanded, as if I thought they will give me answer. I'd give them, you know, small amount of money, but it didn't work. So anyway, yeah, bakshish.
Turkish term.
Yeah,
Turkish
when I
term.
ask something,
We have the
you know,
same word. We have
Yeah?
the same word.
Oh,
yeah,
it's Indo-European.
yeah. Anyway,
Turkish.
instead of taking, yeah, I took that night train, and I bought a first class train. I'm going to tell the difference between the Romania before European Union and after. In the area of Gara de Nord, there were many gypsies, and they were so, how do you say, unruly. And some women are coming, like even in the around the toilet, whether I need a woman or somebody for a very cheap and things like that. And it was interesting. So it was like a train, express train at 12 o'clock at night, and I bought a first class ticket. But when I get into the number, it was written on it, and when I went there, it was packed. And I showed people, come on, as if they are saying, find yourself a place. It doesn't work here. That way. And I noticed some of the people doesn't hold any billet or ticket.
That's a tradition.
And what was interesting is I had just this kind of bottle of water, and so it just ran away in a few minutes. In every station, people bring, you know, big boxes of beers, like 2.5 liters, and Coke, and no water.
No meat.
Yeah, no water. I was, had difficult time.
Sounds like culture shock.
Yeah, the train, there is one part that I will miss, you know, finally in my compartment where I found everybody is left, and there was young lady sometimes, speaking on the cellular phone, and sometimes, weeping. And finally, we were only two of us in the compartment, very close to, probably the train turns close to Suceava, I guess, this way.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah, before that area. So I asked her, what's wrong? Can I just, talk to counsel her? And she had some problems with the family business and things like that. Anyway, she went off there. I give her my email address, not the phone. If I can, or any help in the future, just, sometimes sharing this will be good. Probably she wrote me 6 months later.
Yeah.
And
Good.
anyway, when it was like 3 or 4 hours late. People who were supposed to be meeting me, it was like Sunday, it's well beyond, and I was calling the number they gave, it was like an office number, so you can't reach. And I had an address, and at the train station here in Yash, when I get out, I was looking for, as if somebody is waiting. I said, well, who can wait 4 hours? Because I'm late, And I was looking around, somebody came, do you need a taxi? I said, yeah, but the taxis were seen a little bit far. I was, okay, don't worry about it. I'll bring you a big taxi. And he brought a regular Jeep. I said, this is not a taxi. He said, don't worry about it. I said, okay, are you going to carry me there? And how much? And the owner doesn't know. He brought somebody to translate from English to Romanian. He was telling me whatever comes from your heart, as if he was saying in Romanian. And I said, saying good car deck or something like that, That's what I understand. He was saying, yeah, whatever.
You are a big
Yeah.
one? Oh,
You have to
I said,
very big.
I was telling, my heart is telling, give you everything I own, but I have to stay here. Finally, he brought somebody, he asked me 50 lei. So I said,
Okay.
I don't know. I agreed, and later on, I took taxis from where I stay to